Hi, and welcome to the AI in Elections project. So, in this project, we're going to look at the impact of AI on political campaigns and elections and what some of the ethical considerations are around that topic. We're going to look at AI tools such as ChatGPT and how they're increasingly being used in political strategies, affecting everything from campaign communication to voter targeting. Your goal is to critically analyze these developments and create a digital artifact based on your insights. So, this project focuses on the intersection of AI and democracy. You will analyze how AI impacts transparency, accountability, and fairness in elections. Using the provided sources, so I'm going to give you a source or two, including a YouTube video and the article from the New York Times that references that video. Plus, there's several other podcasts on that page that you might find useful and relevant. And you're going to choose an additional source of your own. It needs to be a reliable source from a good place that gives interesting information about ethical considerations with technology and politics. So, between the sources I give you and the source you have, your task will be to create a digital artifact. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but you want to make sure to highlight not the technology itself, but the ethical issues that brings up. One thing that's interesting, Bill Gates, I found this quote was the intersection of law, politics, and technology is going to force a lot of good thinking. And boy, isn't that's definitely the case. So I'm not going to go through every slide here. I'm just going to give you the brief look at things. It's broken into three sections. This first section is the overview. And in each section, you're going to have a table of contents that will tell you what's in that section and that will link to that section. So this section's where you get the learning outcomes. Here's what the big project is. Here's the timeline. And we have a whole other section just on submitting, so I won't touch on this too much. Here's a link to your sources right here. Here's where you've got the New York Times article, and it's a gift link, so it shouldn't ask you to register or do anything. You should be able just to look at the page. There's the podcast where you can listen to it, and this is the podcast I gave you in Discord already. And there's several places you can listen to it. If you go to YouTube, you can find it and listen or watch it, watch them actually talking to each other. And then you choose the next article. Okay. So, creation, what is this artifact thing that we're going to talk about? So, again, I've got a table of contents here. So, in this section, you'll find an overview, what the options are, what the requirements are, a section on citing your sources, and then DQs, EQs, ethical discussion questions, exploration questions. So, you're going to get a week to do this. You're going to have three options of what you can create. You can make a blog post, a short video, or a podcast episode. And any one of these you do, you need to do it in the format that's relevant to that type of output. So you might have to look up and see what that looks like. So here's your requirements. You're going to specify a specific ethical issue to focus in on after reading through the Hard Fork guys or watching that podcast, finding one of your own. What is the specific ethical issue that you're going to look at? You're going to use the discussion questions to help you focus in, to help you develop your understanding. You're going to answer the exploration questions and use these to guide your artifact creation. And so both of these things, remember, always create a note-taking document, just like we did on the last project. Put your header up at the top, name, class, date, topic. And that's going to be part of what you link to your portfolio page. So you're going to have your artifact that you create and your note-taking document where it's basically your research document. That's where you'll keep track of the answer to these questions, of what you came up with, what your notes from your sources. It's a working document that will be your resource as you create your project. And then after you go through those questions, you will propose some solutions. Like, what do we do about this problem based on what you found? So cite your sources, Don't just link drop, and make sure that in your artifact you talk about whatever it is that you read and learned, and that you directly say, I got this from here, got this from there, so that we can make a direct connection between every fact that you include and where it came from. These are the discussion questions. They're kind of big idea questions. And same with the exploration questions. These exploration questions present a couple of different topics, 5 different topics actually, that could have ethical implications. So let's get to the submission process. So in the submission process, you're going to have, and this ties back to that slide in the overview. So it's in both places, formatted slightly differently to see how that works for you. And so let me tell you what the process is. So you're going to submit your sources to me by Thursday, actually by Friday. That's a typo. And so you're going to send me a post, and there's details about how to do that. It's your preview so that I can see what your extra source is, what kind of artifact you're creating, some information about that. And then you'll submit your completed artifact. You'll link it to your portfolio page, and you'll send it to your discussion group by Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, you'll do some peer reviews. And then Wednesday, if you want to make any adjustments to your project, have that done by Wednesday. And each of these steps is broken out on its own slide. So here's the preview one. Here's the posting to your discussion group, information about peer review. And this is a critical part of the process. And it's only part of what we're going to do next week because we're launching a different project also next week. And so you need to get your artifact up by Sunday night. And then you need to do your peer reviews on Monday and Tuesday so that if people want to make any changes, they can do it by Friday. I give you some information about constructive feedback because you don't want to just say, wow, that was really dumb. That wouldn't be very nice. So you want to be able to give them some helpful information that will help them make improvements on their project. And then some information about the revision. That really is all there is to it. It's a thinking project, just like everything, and it's a timely project because of the time frame that we're in and events, current events, political events, things that are coming up. So let's hone in on the use of AI in these political environments, I guess. I'm trying to think of the word to say. And when you listen to the hard fork guys, they're going to talk about several different applications, a few of which I hadn't even heard about. So start there and then go through the slides, and then you know where to ask questions.